everyone, Repixelated here, and today I'm going to be talking about the 1995 7th level MS-DOS title, Battle Beast. Battle Beast is a side-scrolling video game, with a fighting style much like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. The game starts when our main villain, aka the Toadman, breaks into the Battle Beast lab, and tries to override the system with his dim-witted lackey, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I mean, Wart.
And you, Wart, shall be ever at my side.
Oh, yes! Yes, my gracious master! You can count on me!
The Toadman is a very childlike supervillain, with his sole goal in life to do what he does best.
Try to take over the world!
Even his dim-witted assistant seems very much like our favourite childhood villains from Warner Brothers cartoons.
Yes, sire! I pull with all my might!
Off me, you mutant! Oh!
After the game's introduction, we are then taken to a screen that shows a newspaper with articles depicting the Toads overrunning the city. We then proceed to see an article with the Good General, telling us that it is our job to stop them and apprehend the wicked Toadman. Although, before I proceed on, I would like to talk about this screen and the little Easter eggs scattered about the newspaper. If you actually read the titles, you can find some very interesting articles, usually referencing pop culture or TV and film. I found this one on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Although it says 5 turtles, I assume that this is when TMNT released the female turtle, Venus de Milo. The newspaper screen changes every time you start up the game, which I personally like, as it's the little touches that truly make you appreciate a game. You can even click on the articles depicting the day-to-day dramas of being a toad in the mundane world.
Oh, Lydia, come to me, my darling. Let me kiss you as I've dreamed of for so long.
Jesus! On the main screen of Battle Beast, we can choose to either go up against a buddy or play alone. If you play alone, you will then have to choose from one of the 6 Battle Beasts you'll be using throughout the rest of the game. However, if you choose to go up against your buddy, then only the winner of the most rounds will be allowed to go up against the Toadman at the end of the game. Here, I chose Sparky as my main Battle Beast, which brings me to the names of the actual Battle Beasts when they transform. There's Vermin, who's creatively called Vermin, Nicky, who's called Nazator, Warty is Morden, Tor is Torcuda, Cooley is Coolapesh, and my personal favourite, Sparky as Spartacus.
Are you not entertained?
Another thing I should point out is that Battle Beast has a lot of secret areas hidden throughout the game, which require to be hit in order to access them. Although this may sound easy to do, it is far from it. These areas are hidden well due to the amazing art style, and are such a pain to hit because of the game's clunky mechanics. Although, once you get into these areas, they will benefit you in the long run. And I must say, it's still satisfying to beat the crap out of baby toads whilst listening to this kooky music in the background. Which brings me to remind everyone that this game is not without its flaws. Although this game's art style is amazing and has some cool concepts, the controls can be so delayed and dysfunctional that it can make the game painfully frustrating. It took me an hour alone to beat the Toadman, just because my character would delay his attacks or just plain not respond. Now, before you guys tell me that it's just my computer, I would like to point out that as a child, I played this game on Windows 95 and it did the exact same thing on disk. I was running this game on ISO on my virtual machine and it was still delayed as hell with the attack reactions. It's a good thing this game has save and restore, otherwise I would still be playing this game just to defeat the Toadman. And as much as I like seeing little critters having the stuffing literally knocked out of them, I'd rather not have to do it 1,000 times. And yes, these Battle Beasts are literally little creatures made in a factory with their sole purpose to have the shit beaten out of them for our pure enjoyment. And my god, is it brutal. Oh, and when the Toadman beats you, he lets you know. he lets you know in a big way. By laughing in our face, overrunning the city with toads, giving us a speech on how he will take over the world, and then laughing in our face again. Although this game seems very childish and cartoony, it is probably more suited for teens, despite me being very young when I first played it back in the day. However, the game does have 3 difficulty settings: Mondo Weenie, Tough Guy, and Mondo Tough Guy, which probably would have helped me if I had known about it sooner. Granted, this game probably would be more functional if I had a joystick, but in the day I didn't have a lot of money, so it was good old keyboard and mouse for me, much like how it is today. But when you finally get the satisfaction of defeating the Toadman, you get a real sense of achievement. And by sense of achievement, I mean that you see the Toadman reminiscing about when he was the Toadman, only for him to be dragged off by his lackey with his unresolved inevitable doom. For some reason, even his toads are all like, "Hey, screw this shit, guys, let's get out of here." Then, after all that, we finally see our brave battle beast saluting us and celebrating the Toadman's defeat.